That was marvelous, Darcy. Absolutely marvelous. Some thoughts that evoke love. Ah, God, the one, the present, the power, everywhere, in everywhere, and all the qualities thereof, everywhere, in all the time, forever. And all those qualities that have been called powers, characteristics, and all the things that we have longed for are fully present right here, right now. Wow. Including wisdom, the theme of the month. This is the last week of this theme in the entire period. The word wisdom in English is derived from the German, which is derived from a variety of languages. But in the Bible, there's two different words used. In the Old Testament, it's a Hebrew word that means all the things we think of when we think of wisdom. The capacity to understand, to be present to grasp what's going on and work with it. In the Greek, however, which is what the New Testament was written in almost completely, we think the book of Matthew was translated from the Aramaic to the Greek, but by the time it got into the church fathers' hands, it was all Greek. And in the Greek, the word wisdom is a woman's name, Sophia. Sophia. And even in the Greek versions of the Hebrew Bible, that word is often used. So that wisdom is understood to be the companion of the Creator. That cool? Yeah. Sophia. The Hajj Sophia in Turkey. Some of you may have visited. It's the home, the eternal home of wisdom. Sophia. And the Pistis Sophia is one of the Gnostic pieces that was found in Egypt that help us understand more fully the relationship between Jesus and the Magdalene and the rest of the disciples. Because in it, he's asking questions and everyone is silent, and she comes back with the answer. Yes. The Pistis Sophia, the acts of wisdom. So, how do we attain something that is everywhere present, but we have been told we must seek as one of the greatest pearls, one of the greatest things beyond anything else? We must seek. But it's right here. You want me to talk more to the microphone? Just move a wee bit towards your mouth. I can do that. Is that better? All right. Thank you. We're taught to seek wisdom. We're taught to have that be our preference over silver or gold. In the book of Proverbs, it's very clear that with wisdom you can get more silver and gold, but you can't get more wisdom, get the silver or gold. So, and in fact, the Greeks taught that if you focused on gold, you were becoming a fool, which is why fools go. Right? Isn't that interesting in a culture that's become so focused on profits that service and product and quality are So we have become a foolish country, no longer seeking wisdom, but seeking the highest possible. And yet it's right here. It's right here. Now, it's hard sometimes to grasp what is wisdom and what isn't, right? Because, again, we're not taught any of this as we're growing up, really, in this culture. And one of my favorite online psychologists, a guy named Jordan Peterson, anyone? Oh, he's marvelous if you follow anything from him. If you want to know what the men in their 30s to 50s are understanding, listen to Jordan Peterson. He's got millions of. But one of the things that he talks about very, very clearly, he is just right out front with this and is often questioned by his audience. Intelligence and being smart is not the same as wisdom. And in fact, he says that the Christian church from the beginning has been moving against the arrogance of the intellect. And if you happen to know any Jesuits, which it's been my great fortune to know one or two, that's a huge part of their training. While they're developing their mind to know more than almost anybody else in the Catholic Church tradition, they're being told to avoid the earth. Isn't that interesting? So to be smart, someone says, is to have the answer. To be wise is to have the question. What's really going on? Why am I feeling triggered? What is the issue trying to emerge here? These are the kinds of questions that wisdom asks. And they're based on reflection. Now, way back, about 600 BC, actually about 300 BC by the time it was published, we have a man in China, Kung Fu Tzu, which simply means ancient master, not quite ancient, but major master, big master. Kung Fu Tzu we know as Confucius. And he said there are 3 ways to acquire wisdom. He says that the most noble is through reflection, self-reflection. He says imitation is the second way. It's the easiest. Life experience is the third way. It's the bitterest. Isn't that interesting? This concept of, I can follow the wise person. I can do everything it says in the Bible, which is what most Christians are taught today. Wisdom is acting in alignment with what the Bible says. And I think that's a very important thing. And it has to be kind of an opening stage for us. That's why we hope we have wise parents, or at least wise grandparents. Right? Someone, a wise teacher, please, someone. So that we can have someone that we imitate to begin to understand what wisdom is. And then we can move on to the next level, reflection. But if we don't have someone to imitate, then we need to go out and get that life experience. And in fact, most of the ancient Greek philosophers would say, go out and experience life. Go as far as you can. Go as many places as you can. Find all these different ways of doing things. Discover how little you already know. And Socrates told us the beginning of wisdom is to realize, oh, I really don't know very much, do I? And that actually is the beginning of coming out of our teens and early 20s, where we always know everything because we learned it all. We got the grades. We know, right? We know how they should do it. And it occurs to me every now and then to think about the fact that most of the founders of the United States were in their 20s when they did that. They had the answers. However, they were also, according to our Pulitzer Prize winning wise historian, the most highly educated group of 50 men to ever gather in the history of Western culture. So they did know something. And Ben Franklin was there to keep them on the wisdom jobs. Asking the questions. Asking. So these qualities of the mind that include wisdom are fascinating because whenever you go for any one, the others begin to show. There's a wonderful line that a woman named Vera Nazarian wrote. She says, why is wisdom so fair? Why is beauty so wise? She says, true beauty grips your gut and squeezes your lungs and makes you see with utmost clarity. So focusing on the beauty, that beautiful song helped us do, is what helped her mother be able to give her the wisdom and share the wisdom. Because that beauty lifts us out of our normal thinking mind and begins to allow us to break away from our intellect, break away from our smartness, and allow the wisdom that is to flow in. Self-reflection in other languages is called meditation. Now, Charles Fillmore discovered in his work that when we can sit in the silence, focusing on the possibility of maybe hearing God's voice, listening, when we can do that once or twice or 3 times in the day, we may not actually hear God's voice. He didn't. He did it for a year. And he never heard the voice. But at the end of the year, oh my goodness, he's healthier. His relationships are easier. His business is doing better. And his dreams are getting guidance. Sitting in that expectancy of receiving wisdom, God's voice, opened his whole being to actually receiving the wisdom and living from it. Now, in the Christian tradition, if you follow this, imitating the book, wisdom is all about the actions we take. We're doing wise things because the book shows us what is wise. The book we call the Bible, which in Greek is the books, ta Biblia, the books. We follow the books and we act in alignment with it. But unless we have taken it in and reflected on it, it is not truly ours, is it? We're basically following instructions. And it's hard to call someone wise who is simply just following instructions. So it's a very, very good first step. Find someone, something that you consider wise and imitate. They'll be flattering. But more than that, you will begin to see what happens when you begin to operate in that alignment. And if you can stop and reflect, you begin to feel the difference between when I'm acting from wisdom and when I'm acting from my smart self. Because my smart self has all the answers. It thinks, no. It absolutely does not. But so I follow it because I've got it handled. I know the answers here. I'll just do it, right? Don't need God in this. I got it made. Yeah. Well, of course, the mess emerges out of that. Always. Because we don't have it. Because we're only operating in a very limited, not only do we have blinders, we've got mental frameworks that are all reducing what we can see and hear and know and say. And so if we end up doing partial acts based on partial information and causing disruption in our lives. One of the quotes that I found was Isaac Asimov saying, one of the horrors of this time is that science is developing things far faster than human wisdom can keep up. We are acting from smart rather than acting from. And that's part of what I was putting across yesterday in the class. And if you ask me to, I can do it for you, if you would like. So how do we know the difference? How can we tell when I got a handle, I know the answers, I'll just go ahead and do it, or, oh, that's the way, right? Or, oh, that's the question. So part is, you can feel it in your body, just the way I demonstrated, right? When I've got it handled, I've got the adrenaline going, and I'm moving, I'm handling this, all of that. When I'm working in that space of wisdom, God, why don't we try this, right? Whole different way of being. The body is able to relax into the flow that spirit always is everywhere, being for us, yes. So one of the ways that we look at the difference between smart, intelligent, and wise is smart and intelligence is involved intention and action and that sense of it's got to happen now. And it may be associated with a trigger. It's a quick reaction that we have because somewhere way back when we made up our mind that whenever that happens, we have to do this. Whatever that is, or whatever this is. And we all have those triggers. We're human, we're raised in this culture, we have buttons, triggers, whatever. If we're acting from that, we're definitely not acting. And we're feeling that tension. Tension in our body, tension in our world, tension in our life. But when we allow, when we have taken that deep breath and said, okay, what's really going on here? What do I really need to know? And listen for a moment. It's really all we do. Then the whole body begins to relax. And the body and the mind and the spirit begin to come into alignment. And the way through that is graceful and easy and so the way around whatever, the way beyond whatever this is that's come up that we're supposed to be working on begins to become evident with no effort on our part. And in fact, Michael Ray or Sean Myers wrote a book called Creativity in Business, and it's based on a study that was actually part of a book I wrote years ago, that got published years ago. And that is interviewing successful Silicon Valley entrepreneurs to find out what worked. And it turned out, and some of you have heard this already, it turned out that they were most effective, most successful when what they chose to do was according to their gifts and talents. Now, and it was easy. It took no effort at all to do it. You know how that is. There are things that you know how to do so well, and they feel so good to do, that you just do it. And you sometimes actually enjoy it, and you're never drained by it. So what is mine to do is what is effortless, what is enjoyable, and what I am energized in doing. If I can choose along those lines, then I'm choosing in harmony with the spiritual and physical gifts that I have. And it's effortless and it's enjoyable. Well, joy is one of the qualities of God. In fact, when I was on the healing path years ago, someone gave me a card that stayed on my visible space for a very long time. Joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. Well, I ended up editing it. Joy is the infallible sign of my awareness of the presence of God, because God's always present. But if I'm in my joy, if it is enjoyable, then I'm in that God space. I'm in alignment with the wisdom, the beauty, the power of the divine. And when I am energized by doing, when I'm ready to go on to the next thing, when I'm ready to go out and dance because of this, or whatever it is, right? That's spirit, that's life, that's what we call divine life, moving in and through me, because I'm in harmony with the divine, because I've chosen wisely, and I'm feeling joy, and life now moves through me. Yes. And even though the body may be tired, I feel really good. And that's when we go into our gratitudes, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, what a great day. It was so good today. I got to experience this and that, and someone showed up, and that synchronicity happened, and then this unfolded, and we accomplished so much. Oh, thank you, thank you. That's energized. So when we get into that state, the more we get into that state, guess what? The more we're getting that wisdom. We're in that state of harmony and flow. And when we act in wisdom, we are far more effective, even though it might be just a little thing. But that little thing is the perfect thing for that situation, that moment in space and time. And it ripples out. And the universe is resonating because, oh yeah, that puzzle piece went right in the right spot and we're all ready to go. We all have constant access to infinite wisdom, always, in all ways. We just need to let go of being smart. So knowing all of that and feeling that in this moment, should go into meditation. We take a breath and relax in the body, knowing that spirit as life is moving in and through every cell of this body. Knowing that with every breath we're breathing in infinite light and love and beauty and joy. And it's moving into the body, moving around and touching all the organs and tissues, restoring harmony and balance in the infinite wisdom of the one presence that is here. And we feel that light, that life. We feel that beingness that is all that is, loving us, embracing us, enfolding us. And as we allow it in and through every cell, we begin to radiate that light into the world. No effort, ease and grace. Feel it. Simply by breathing. We breathe. And all the life of the universe is flowing through us. We breathe. And all the love of the universe surrounds us and penetrates every cell. We breathe. And all the life of the universe is ours, that we may live and know and experience fully the one that is who we really are. We breathe. And as we focus on our breathing, we allow the one power, the one presence, the one life to live and move and have its being in us as we live and move and have our being in the one. Simply by breathing. having breathed all this life and light and wisdom and love and joy into every aspect of our being, our bodies, our lives, our world. We breathe one more cleansing breath to bring our awareness fully into this room, this time, be part of this community with all the good that is here now. And we know that this good is radiating out into the world simply because we are it and are aware of it. And we give thanks that it is so. Truly thanks that this light, this love is radiating out. For so it is. And so I say,